going to work this morning. As you can tell, it's daylight. I slept in a little bit this morning. It's Saturday, so I just gotta pile some brush and move some logs. Anyways, follow up on the Q&A. I'm getting some awesome questions. Oh, that's what I'm going to answer a bunch of them driving to work this morning, because once I get up there, I don't get very good service. So I had 2 or 3 clips, and I'll get those edited in. What I ended up doing was wait until I got home last night, and then I just wrote down all of the questions on my little notepad here on the phone. The only thing I didn't do was write down who they were from. I didn't think about that, so I'm not sure if that's going to work out very well or not. Oh, anyways, let's get to it. And a couple of the questions, like how do we get the lines and stuff out? I'm going to edit in, go back to the videos I made how to do that and edit those clips in and show the road change and whatnot. So hopefully that'll help. Anyways, what do we do with the brush piles after they're done? We burn them. Actually, I think I just answered this one already. Average loads per day. That's kind of tough, because now that we're off of the big lift, long yarding, we're getting, the yarder is yarding 8 to 10 loads a day, and but we've been jumping around trying to finish these bird circles, so that kind of slows us down too, because the hook tender is not completely able to be ahead, so that the yarder just pulls in, pull the guy lines out, run the layout around, go to logging. Hot damn cold. Anyway, so right now we're doing between 6 and 10. Honestly, now that we're done with all that, and we're going to actually get to go to the next landing we go to, has got 5 corridors on it. It's what we call a wagon wheel, and then the one after that's got 5 or 6. So we'll be in one spot for, at least a week and a half, 2 weeks. You'll have plenty of time to get ahead. I bet we get up where we're averaging 10 and 12 loads a day. So that, that is kind of, and I think Nuts 319 asked that one, and he said this is kind of a loaded question, and it kind of is. So, anyways, what happened? Let's see, average loads per day. Woo's 31. Do beavers say timber when they fall a tree? And does OSHA check their cutting? Make sure they have safe cutting practices. If he works for the government or a government agency, then he probably does say timber. That's a pretty good one. Heavy equipment school, is it worth it? If you're asking if you go to heavy equipment school, is it going to help you get a job in logging? I don't believe so. I've never heard of anybody, and that's not to say that it hasn't happened, but I've never ran into anybody that's went through a heavy equipment school to get a job in logging. If you're going to go to work, and I'm assuming that this is what you're thinking is doing construction, then yes, I definitely think it would help you. Because when you go fill out your application, myself, if I needed a excavator operator and I put an ad out, and I had 2 guys come in one had absolutely no experience, and one had experience through the heavy equipment school, I would hire him before I would the guy with no experience, just because he already at least knows how to run the machine and how to maintenance it. Now, as for actually digging holes and stuff like that, a lot of that stuff, I mean, they teach you how to make the movements, but they don't really teach you how to dig and whatnot. So, I do believe that it would help in the construction field, because they also, some of them schools, it's not just excavators. They teach you how to run grader and CAD, how to read grade. Because when you go to work for a construction company, and if you know how to read grade, which I was taught how to do a long time ago in the field, you're kind of valuable, because building road is not as easy as a lot of people think it is. It's not just put the blade down, swipe a white spot, throw some gravel on top of it, and then pave it. Or if you're just going to gravel it, run a grader up and down it. So yeah, if you know how to, I think it would help considerably, knowing how to cut grade, read grade, and run a grader or a six-way, and excavator too. So yeah, that's a good question. I hope that answer helps you. Did I get that damn door fixed? Cha-cha! I got a whole bunch more of it. No, that's what we're gonna do today, is we're gonna give her hell trying anyways. And I got to looking at it some more, and I'll show you guys. It's not all that rattling isn't just the door, it's the mechanism and the latch. And I know I showed you part of it, but was looking at something last night. I was messing with it, and I'll make sure to try to get a video of it, because it's the inside of the latch. The mechanisms are all rattling around like crazy. Do we log state or private jobs? Both. The job we're on right now is a BLM, Bureau of Land Management. The next job, the shovel logging job that they're cutting on right now. Well, not right now, but they started cutting. We're waiting for some dry weather to actually start logging it. Hopefully Monday we'll start logging. That is a private job. So we definitely do both. We work for state, BLM, and Forest Service. I know it's all the same, but it's completely different. I mean, completely different. And private jobs. And we also work for contract loggers, which most people would think private is just private. But like your big timber holders, and I can't say their names, but we talked about them in the comments here the last couple of days. There is what you'd call contract. So, yes, we do both. Did Jen, Synthinator asked the last two questions and this one. Did Jen have a good time with Wade, Pa, and Mammy, and Jesse, and Brian? Absolutely, we did. We had an awesome time. She enjoyed herself greatly. As a matter of fact, we had plans, a small vacation planned this summer, and she has already canceled them plans and is doing everything we can to get worked out to where we go and spend a total of 11 days, with part of it with Stump and Mammy, and part of it with Wade and his family. So hopefully that gets worked out, and that'd be some really good times. I think all those everybody we met and hung out with at the show they're good people. That's all that needs to be said. They're good people. You guys, damn it. How did my buddy Stump get so damn handsome? Well, he hung out with me. Hey, Stump. You goofy bastard. How was the... Oh, here's a good one. How was the load sold? By ton, by scale, both. And it depends on who you're working for, whether it be state, BLM, private or whatnot. But this job we're on right now, the saw logs, we are sold, or we are paid by, there's a wild turkey walking down the highway right there. I should go back and get it. Have turkey tonight. No, seriously, there was a turkey walking down the road. Do I have to, do you guys not believe me? Walking right down the road. Turkeys are so lazy around here they won't even walk through the brush. I wonder if we can't find any good rigging hands. Anyways, the saw logs for the company we are working for right now, the mill, we are paid by scale. So how many ever board feet is on a load is what he gets paid. The chipwood is all done by tonnage. And that depends on what the chip market is going. So if the chip market's hot, we're getting paid good. And if the chip market takes a crap and crashes tomorrow, we will, the tonnage sales, you know, they fluctuate. You don't get, when you start a job, let's say you're making $28 a ton on the fir and $30 a ton on the hardwood, and that's what you get paid all the way through. You could get paid $22 a ton on one load and $16 a ton on the next load the same day. So that's we do both. That is a really good question. I like that one. Biggest tower I've ever worked on was the, and I wasn't an employee of the company. I was hanging out with a buddy because the yarder I was on broke down. We were going to be down for a couple of days, and he was bragging about the wood they were logging, so I had to go over and see it. It was a 199 Skagit, 110-foot tube, had dual, Jesus, now I can't even think what they were. It had two motors on it, dual. I can't remember what size or anything like that. Anyways, dual 12-cylinder, you know, diesel motors, dual turbos, inch. I want to say it had an inch and 3/8 skyline on it. It had an inch skid line. Inch skid line. We have 5/8 on this yarder. Big yarder. You could log all the way around, 360 degrees. Most yarders you can only log, or big yarders you can only log square to square. With the way this one was set up, them bigger towers, you could, some of them you could log all the way around on it. And they were tree length in it. It was a cedar patch. And my buddy was not kidding when he said the average was 10 foot through, and they had several that were 15, 16 foot, you know, because cedar does this. Tree length, they were shotgunning, so they just had a slab on, a non-motorized carriage, and they were hanging 3, 4, and 5 of them tree length cedars at a time, and that old Skagit never missed a beat. They'd whistle that skyline up, and you'd hear them dual turbos just a whistling up I mean, with ease, just yanking these babies up in the air. And they had, probably about 70, 80 feet of lift, if I remember right. So by the time they got it picked up to Baloney, and got ready for the upho. The logs, about 75-80% of the log, which is optimal, was off the ground. 6 speed. They're getting like 50, 55 loads a day. But when it only takes 6 and 8 logs to make a load, and you're sending 3 tree lengths, so you're getting 9 and 12 logs per turn, you know, it don't take that long to get a load of logs. So that would have to be, other than the double slow 9, which is actually a double 09. But they were slower in hell, but boy, would they pull. I mean, they would absolutely pull logs all day long. Never think about it. Can I recite the whistle? Oh, can I recite the whistle sheet without looking at it? Absolutely not. Not gonna happen. Matter of fact, we're almost pulling up to the yard here. We'll pull in there. I've been meaning to get a picture of that and try to get it out to you guys. We got a couple hanging off the yard right now. So we'll do that as we speak. Pop you guys out of the mountain here real quick. Just stick with me. There the old girl is. So this is that landing I was just telling you guys about. It's going to have 4 or 5 corridors. See that pink ribbon? That's one of them. And they go right down there. Now this is a goofy thing. Right down at the end of this road is that bird area that we can't be in. But our lines are going to be hung right there at it. And we can drive a car through it. We can drive the log loader through it. We can drive a log truck through it. We just can't stop and load logs in that area. Isn't that goofy? So, okay, let's finish out the questions here real quick, and then I'll take them pictures. Do you have to have a special license to drive the yarder? If you mean like drive it from setting to setting, no, you don't. If you mean to operate it, be the yarder engineer, no, you don't. You can drive it down the highway if you put the proper pups and jeeps on it, and yes, then you would have to have a CDL to drive it down the road. But as for just to drive it around up here, you absolutely do not have to have a driver's license. Camera on the carriage. I have tried it, had some success with it. I want to do it again. I really, really do, because I think it would, when we was over there in that super high lift, I think it would have been really sick to get some of those pictures. With the guy that's pulling rigging now, I don't want to do it because I'm 100% sure that he would on purpose get a long end or do whatever to knock my camera off the carriage. So as soon as we get somebody that I trust out there, I do have a mount and all that, I will get it back and we will get it on the carriage again. And then I wanted to show you guys, so there's that first corridor. Here's one right here. You can see the pink ribbon. Anyways, you can see, hopefully there's pink ribbons all the way across here. So we'll set here and log all the way around. And then you see there's a tree right there with pink. Almost ate shit. Anyways, there's a tree right there with pink ribbon. That means it's a lift tree. So that's how we marked them, so the cutters don't fall it, because right up there is another landing. So you see these logs behind us. We'll have a corridor that comes through here maybe, or actually that's the one. And that'll pick up all of that stuff. And then we have corridors that come off of that go down in there and get that. So we'll be here. You know, they get that one in a day. Change roads, they get on this one. When they get, we'll be changing roads every day. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll probably be here 8 to 10 days. But you can see how thick the wood is. If he goes up in the lift tree 40 feet, they'll have optimal lift to get the logs in and out. Good landing to log them, or to land them. A good spot for the processor to set. Everything's going with us, except for probably going to have 2 guy lines across the road. But if they, because you can hang the guy line in a lift tree just like you would a lift tree. So we should be any reason why we don't get 10, 12 loads a day easily set in here. Different lines on the yarder. Please explain them. Perfect timing to get this question because we're on the yarder. So let's get climbed up here. Keep you guys. This is gonna be a long video. I may have to make 2 videos out of it. Okay, we'll start right back here. Those 4 drums there are the guy lines. They go out back. And you put 1 here, 1 there, and then these 2 somewhere in the middle. And so that when you start logging, you're in between 2 guy lines every road. That's what keeps the tower from being pulled over. This one here is the skyline. So it will get pulled. Actually, right there's a corridor. They're gonna have to move the order. Right there is a corridor. So they'll pull the skyline right down that corridor. I see the lift tree. They'll go up through the lift tree and then anchor it. Picks up. It stays up in the air. And then you take the carriage and hang the carriage on the skyline and it runs back. So in order for the carriage to get pulled back up, you have to have the skidding line. And the skidding line skids the turns in. If you need to pull it back, this one we will not. It will gravity feed back, but if you had to pull it back, you'd have to have the haul back. So the skidding line skids them in, the haul back hauls it back. Like that. This particular carriage that we run is a slack spitter. So they take the skid line and goes through the carriage and down through a spitter wheel and comes out. When it's from the carriage ahead, it's called skid line. From the carriage out, it's called drop line. So we'll ship the carriage back, they'll stop it, clamp it, start spitting slack. It pulls the skidding line off the yarder, through the carriage, and down to the guys on the ground. And then the guys on the ground pull it out, choke their logs, open the clamp, go ahead on the drop line because it's hanging out the other side. When they go ahead on the drop line, yarder engineer starts pulling on the skidding line, pulls it up. When it gets up to a certain point, they stop it, close the skidding line clamp, open the skyline clamp, and bring the logs to the landing. I hope that helps you all out. I think this Q&A was really good. I got really good questions. I may have to make it a 2-part by the time I get it all edited together. We'll see how long it is. I am considering doing a live Q&A if I can get the technical part of it all figured out. So give me your suggestions on that. Until next time, stay safe, get logs, cam out.